Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining me. I hope you have a good day. So today we are going to talk about scripting. And actually, my colleague Kevin Kramer did 2 talks about that in Qt World Summit, one in 2015 and one in 2019. Apparently, we are doing one every 4 years, so here it is. During those talks, he explained how to integrate scripting in an application. And now you know that the Qt script module is deprecated. So the way to do that with Qt 5 and Qt 6 is actually to use the QML engine. I'm not going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about the next step. So now you have scripting integrating in your application. What's the next step? The next step is actually to be able to record what the user is doing and to create a script from that. OK? And to do that, I'm going to use a small demo application. You can get the code on GitHub if you want. So this demo application looks like this. So the user part is the code editor. It's a text editor. OK? So that's a normal editor. You can type things, etc., etc. You can see at the bottom there's a log here. And the script, you can actually add some script here. So I can insert some text, like hello, Qt World Summit. If I'm running it, the text is here. Sorry, maybe you didn't see it, but the text is here. So I can script my application. That's nice. Now what I want to do is actually to record what the user is doing and create a script from there. How to do that? The first thing is a bit of preparation. Because when I sit down trying to do that, I realize that if I want to script my application and to record what the user is doing, I need to go through the same code path for both sides. Whatever the user is doing or whatever the script API I'm calling, I need to go through the same code path. And I'm just adding a log to be sure I'm going through the right way. So when the user is pressing Ctrl right, which is move to the next word, or when I'm calling the text document go to next word, I'm actually going through the same code path and just adding a small debug for that. So if we look a bit at the code, sorry, there will be some code here. Don't be afraid. So go to next word. That's actually the API that is called from the script. I'm just adding a bit of debug here. And the thing is, I can't use what the Qt text edit is doing. I need to force the Qt text edit to go through the go to next word API call. And to do that, I'm just event. I'm just re-implementing the event filter. And if you look at move to next word, I'm going through my go to next word method. So that's my code preparation, making sure that whatever the user is doing, it's going to use the same code path as my script. And once you are here, then one of my requirements was to avoid any big code changes on the caller side. Why? Because there are multiple API I need to change, multiple ways the user can interact. So it needs to be really small, the changes I need to do on this side. And then I realized, oh, look, I have a debug on all my actions. So let's use and abuse the logging system for that. So now, whenever the user is pressing Ctrl right, next word, I'm logging this, but I'm also storing this information in a model. So in my model, I have the data with the name of the API that is called and the parameters. And I'm going to do that for all the action the user is doing. So H, E, L, etc., etc. And here I have in my model all the data that the user has done. And once you have that, it's quite easy to just create a script from there. You just parse the different data, and then you create the script. So let's have a look here. Okay, taking a bit of time of building. Oh, I need to close this one. So in my application now, what do I have? I still have the logging on the right, but now I have a table view on the left, which is showing my history model. And you can see whatever I'm doing, you can see something happening on the model also. So I'm persisting basically the logging data in my model. So what I said to you is I want the color side to be to not have a lot of changes. So if I go to next word, if you remember, the previous time I showed you this method, there was a QDebug. Now there's a log macro. That's the only change. And on the macro itself, what the macro is doing, it's just creating a logger object. We'll see later why we are creating an object, actually. And this logger object is actually doing two things. The first one is logging the data inside my model. And the second thing here, those 4 lines are just to display a debug, basically. Okay? And if I'm going to my model here, so my model is just the normal abstract table model. You know all the method you need to re-implement. And it has 2 interesting methods. One is create script, and the other one is log data. So the log data is just creating a log data object with the name of my API and the parameters. Easy, simple, and you are storing that inside a vector. Okay? And on this side, if I'm looking at the create script method, so I don't want to explain all the line, but it's basically iterating through all my data in my data logged, sorry, and it's going to create the script here. So if I'm taking here some line, creating the script, and here you can see the script. And I can run the script, and normally it should do something. Yes. So that's good. First step, done. And now you realize you don't want to log everything, actually. There are some times you don't want to log things. For example, here, if I have 2 API, one named foo, which I can call with alt-f, and the other one named bar, which I can call with alt-b, and the bar method is actually calling foo. If I'm pressing alt-f, what do I want? Text document.foo. And that's what I got. If I'm pressing alt-b, what do you want? Text document.bar. And what do you got? Any ideas? You got bar and foo, right? Because I'm logging everything. Another reason to not log everything, the find feature, when I'm searching for something in my text editor, if I'm pressing Control F, what the Control F is going to do is to try to get the selected text first. And if there are no selected text, then it's going to take the word under the cursor. Okay? So So if I'm pressing Control F and I type hello in the line edit of the search box, what I want is just text document find hello. What do you got? You got selected text, current word, and then the find. And that's the same for different scenarios here, when I have the cursor on hello, or when I have the hello text selected. So as you can see, you are logging way too many things. How to fix that? The way to fix that is quite easy because we have created our logger object, remember. So if I'm looking at my logger object here, I just added one thing, this static bool mCanLog. And I'm going to play with this boolean to avoid logging things. For example, in the constructor here, I'm just storing mFirst logger. So the first time you are logging something, you can log it, and you can store the value in the history model. And when you call log, then you put mCanLog to false. So the next time you are trying to log something, it's not going to log. Why? Because obviously here I'm testing, can I log something? If not, then it's doing nothing. And the second way to avoid logging, it's just to create a logger disabler. This class is just RAII, quite a mouthful to say. And this class is just putting mCanLog to false in the constructor and then putting back the value later on. So once you have done that, if you try to search something, you can see there's nothing logged. The logging just happened when you actually try to find anything. And that's the same for my method. Remember foo and bar. You can see I'm only logging foo and I'm only logging bar. OK, so we are almost there. Now we have something that works. We can choose when we are logging things. But one of my problems is I'm using some values coming from other API as parameter for the next API call. So when I'm searching for some text here, if I'm searching for this text, I'm pressing next. So I'm getting the value from the current word under the cursor, and then I'm searching for this word. If I'm creating a script for this, you can see it's calling current word, but it's just finding the actual word that was under the cursor. That's not what we want. So you need a way to get a result from an API and to use it in the next call or in a follow-up call. And the way to do that is actually to do 3 simple steps. The first one is to store the return value. So we are going to store the return value of current word. And we are also going to tag this value in a way that we know how to use this return value. And when we call the follow-up API, then we look at the available return value and we look at the return value that has the same tag. Okay. So let's have a look now. If I'm searching something, I'm going to call current word. Current word is going to store something in my history model. And what it's going to store, it's the API, the parameter, but now we have a return value. And you can see the return value here. The return value is hello, and I'm tagging it saying it's a text. Okay? And now when I'm searching for hello, so find hello, what I'm going to store is the API find. The parameter is hello, and it's a text also, so that's the same tag, and there's no return value. And during the script creation, the first line here, the current word, then we store this in a variable, and we call it text, because it's easy. And for the next line, we are looking. So I have a parameter. My parameter has the tag text. Do I have a return value that has the tag text? Yes, we do. Cool. Can we use it? And to use this value, we need to make sure that during when the user did anything with the application, the return value and the parameter has the same actual value. So we compare the value here. The return value is hello. My parameter is hello. So yes, I can use it. And then now I can write let text document current word, and then text document find text. So in terms of code now, where are we? So if I'm looking at current word now, so my current word is doing two things. It's logging the fact that I'm calling current word, but it's also actually logging the return value. Okay? And what the log return is doing, it's just setting a return value on my logger object. So that's another reason why I have this object around. And this thing is just actually setting a return value on my model. So we take the latest data from my model, and we add a return value. Okay. And you can see my log data now has the name of the API, the parameter, and the return value. And each of those things here are an argument which is a name. I should have called that tag, because that's what I said in here. It's not a name per se, it's more a tag, and the actual value here. And on the creation side of the thing, so we have something for handling the return value, but the most important line is this line here. On this line, I'm just checking when I'm calling something, I'm just checking the parameters. Is the parameter tag empty? Yes or no? If it's not empty, then I'm checking, do I have a return value with this tag? If I have a return value with this tag here, then I'm checking, is the return value the same as my parameter value? And if it's the same, then I can use actually this, this variable inside my API call. So let's have a look here. So Control F, I'm searching for something, creating the script, and here it is. You can see I'm storing the value of current word inside the variable text, and I'm reusing this variable inside the find. That's quite easy. And as you can see on the color side, again, the most important thing, I need to reduce the changes I'm doing on my color side. And the changes I've done is just this the log return here. And same thing for the find method. When I'm logging the find method, I just added this log arg macro to say that this is a text and the value, this is a text and the value of text is this. So again, easy. And if I'm searching, I'm changing something here, I'm searching for this, you can see that I'm creating the text like this. There's no current word involved or nothing else here. So that's nice. Are we done? So let's have a look. Are we done yet? Let's see. No. You see an error here. Do you know why? Anyone? It looks easy, yeah? Should work. The problem is current word is actually a property, not a method. So what you want is actually let word equal text document dot current word, and then find the word. And what you get is almost the same, except the parentheses at the end. So you have two ways to fix that. The first way is don't use any properties. That's the easiest way. And actually, it's not the worst idea, because if you think about that, the fact that we are using a QML engine and the fact that we are using properties, QML properties, is just an implementation details. Your user don't care about that. So not using property is probably the best idea. But if you use property, then what you need to do is actually to store all the different properties from the different objects beforehand, and then during the script creation, then you check, is it a property or is it a method? And if it's a property, then you need to handle it in a different way. So let's have a look here. The way I did it is it's probably not the best way. There are probably better way, but that's just an example here. So I have a log register, which is going to actually load all the properties from my text document inside the property list of my history model. And whenever I'm creating the script from there, I'm checking, is the API call a property? Yes. Then we need to check, are we reading the property or are we writing the property? And if it's not a property, then we handle the function. So 3 different use cases here. First one, we are reading the property. Second one, we are writing the property. And the last one, we are calling a method. So again, if we look at the code here, so what I have in my text document, in the constructor, I just have a log register here, macro. Again, not a big fan of what I've done, but it's just for the example. And this thing is just using the meta object from the text document to extract all the properties. And we are storing that inside a property list. And now during the script creation here, so that's my create script method here, at the end, you have the if else. If it's a property, then am I reading the property or am I writing the property? Yes, no, and then you handle the 2 cases. And if it's not a property, then that's the normal code you would write just before. Okay, so Let's see how it works now. Control F, next. And I'm creating the script from there, and if I'm running it, yes, it's working. I should have taken something that is multiple time here. Oh, that's the same script, okay. Well, is it finding something? Let's try on this one. Yes, it's finding lectus multiple times. So you can see that's how you extract, you record and create a script from what the user is doing. And again, the most important thing is to reduce whatever code you had on the color side. Are we done yet? Yeah, it looks to work. The problem is, when you think you are done, then you are not necessarily done yet. There are still many things to do. And the first one is probably this one. You want to merge some code. Why? Because if I'm... let me write something here. So if I'm writing hello, and creating a script from that, that's my script. That's not what the user wants. What the user wants is actually hello, like this, okay? So you need a way to actually merge different calls together. So that's the next thing here. So let's build this and see how it works. If I'm typing hello, you can see you have 3 different lines for the log, but you have only 1 line for the model, for my history model, because I merge the different calls together. How did I do that? Again, the most important thing is to reduce the work on the color side. So if we look at the insert method, you can see I have a log and merge macro now. So whenever I'm calling the insert method, I'm going to try to merge this method in my model. Basically, if the method just before is the same, I'm merging the parameters together. That's the basic idea. And that's an exercise for you, because I didn't do that in the simple example I just showed you. There are many other things you need to do. You need to handle complex parameters. You need to handle the difference between a QML singleton and a non-singleton object. So here, my text document is the singleton, the QML singleton. But imagine that you have a text editor with multiple documents open. You can't use a singleton anymore. Simplify the log macro, store properties at compile time, etc., etc. There are a lot of things that you can do. Again, I want to stress that the most important thing is reduce whatever code you need to change on the color side. And if you look at what I've done, there are actually only 2 macros on the color side. Well, 3. Log, log and merge, and log return. That's it. And I'm done. Thank you very much for your time.